Well, the sleeping giant has finally woken up, and millions of people all across the globe are now starting to stand up against these vaccine mandates, against these forced vaccinations, against these COVID passports, these lockdowns and mandates that have been all shoved down our throats literally for the past 2 years. Well, globally, people have had enough, and they're starting to put their foot down, and they're starting to protest and stand against this tyranny stealing corruption on a global scale, so much so that even some elite are starting to, well, go into hiding. I'm talking about this freedom convoy, the truckers, and there's tens of thousands of them who are standing against these forced vaccines and these forced mandates by Justin Trudeau. And they are a huge sign to people all across the globe saying that we've had enough. We want our freedoms back. And let me be very clear. I think what this is really about is these freedom stealing policies. It's not about the actual vaccine mandates per se, because a lot of those truckers are vaccinated and some are not. It is about the mere fact that the government and the globalists don't have a right to mandate what people put in our bodies or what we do put in our bodies. That is between our doctors and ourselves. And I believe that's what's at the very core of this trucker stance, regardless of what the mainstream media keeps painting them by. And let me be very frank, they keep publishing stories of one or two in the group that have nothing to do with the entire group. But so much is happening, and I believe a lot is going on. Take a look at what I'm talking about here. We have Gateway Pundit, and this was a couple of days ago, but Canada Freedom Convoy 2022 is now the longest truck convoy on record. 43 miles long is what it was reported to be. That's tens of thousands of vehicles that line the highway. And this is a record-breaking event. This just shows how many people are standing up. And with the truckers, there's also tens of thousands of people who are supporting them. Here we have the suburban.com truck convoy rallies, thousands in protest on Parliament Hill. So thousands of people are joining in, standing up, going to the parliament there to stand against Justin Trudeau, who has been known for his freedom-stealing policies. He's not about the Canadian people. He's all about tyranny and ushering that in. But thankfully, there are some big names who are also supporting these truckers. Just a few of those here. Of course, Joe Rogan. This is thepostmillennialist.com. Canada in revolt. Joe Rogan on the trucker convoy protesting Trudeau's vaccine mandate. He is tweeting in support of them. We also have the republicworld.com. Elon Musk also supports them in a tweet that backs Canadian truckers launching freedom rally against these COVID-19 vaccines. And also here we have Russell Brand blast Justin Trudeau attack on anti-mandate truckers with Trudeau's past praise for truckers. We've got lots of big names here who are supporting what they're doing. Not only that, but the trucker convoy and those standing up on the border there in Canada, between Canada and the United States, also are getting millions of dollars from people all across the globe. So the people are even standing with the truckers. Take a look here at foxnews.com. GoFundMe for Canadian truckers approaches 10 million, more than the country's political parties raised last year. In other words, they have more support from the people as far as these truckers are concerned than politicians. And let me be more specific and read that section for you. Here's what it says. By comparison, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, reigning Liberal Party of Canada, ranked in only 3.7 million during the last quarter of 2021. 3.7 million. According to public records with Elections Canada, the opposing Conservative Party of Canada collected a little more than 3 million during that same period. And among the other parties represented in Canada's House of Commons, the New Democratic Party raised 1.8, the Green Party 800,000, and the last one there 150,000. So in other words, we've got 10 million for the trucker convoy, but even Justin Trudeau's own party in one quarter can only raise 3.7 million. So much for the trucker convoy being a fringe minority, Justin Trudeau. And I've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to play by Justin Trudeau and what he's been calling these truckers, because you really need to hear it. But what we do know right now is that these truckers are at a standoff. They have pledged so far to stay in Ottawa until either two things are accomplished, either one or the other, not both, but either Justin Trudeau resigns or he gets rid of these vaccine mandates and measures. So that's as it stands right now. I know that there are talks going on with the Ottawa police and the Canadian officials. Here's some of the latest information on that. This is on zerohedge.com. Canadian officials expect police to take appropriate action as the trucker convoy blocks the U.S.-Canadian border. As of yesterday, there were 100 truckers blocking the border there between Canada and between Alberta and Montana for a third day in a row against these vaccine mandates. I believe, don't quote me, I believe they opened up a small portion for certain traffic to get in. But that's where we stand as of the latest. So far, there's a lot of these truckers still making headway. Here's also what the Ottawa police chiefs are saying about the situation. And this is on Ottawa News. All options are on the table to end truckers' protest, Ottawa police chief states. And here's what they had to say. And I want to read this because I'm about to show you some statements from Justin Trudeau that simply are not the case and are not what is happening. But these are from the Ottawa news source here. It says, and I'm quoting, it could have led, talking about the convoy could have led to significant and severe injuries, and it could have led to the loss of life. None of that has occurred over the past 4 days. No riots, no injuries, no deaths. That is a measure of success for any jurisdiction in Canada and, quite frankly, anywhere in the world. Police are continuing to negotiate with organizers in an effort to end the demonstration. And he says all options are on the table, from negotiation through enforcement. So that's what the Ottawa police chief is now stating. But as you know, very clearly in that, it says, as of the past 4 days, no injuries, no riots, no deaths, no loss of life, nothing of that nature. And yet, the mainstream media, specifically those in Canada, even some here in the U.S., are painting this convoy as there's some kind of violent fringe minority. Here's what Justin Trudeau said when he first heard about the convoy. Take a listen.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other.
So this convoy, according to Trudeau a couple of days ago, is a fringe minority with unacceptable views. What exactly are these unacceptable views that he's talking about? Well, the main thing that they're standing against is his vaccine passports, his vaccine mandates and measures and forced vaccinations. So that's an unacceptable view because it doesn't politically align with you. I can really see how tyrannical this guy is, and I hope the rest of America starts to see it. But that's not all. As the convoy, started heading into the parliament, he decided that he would also expand on that statement. Take a listen to what he says here.
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues. Black Lives Matter is an excellent example of that. But I have also chosen to not go anywhere near protests that have expressed hateful rhetoric, violence towards fellow citizens, and a disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline health workers and, quite frankly, the 90% of truckers who have been doing the right thing to keep Canadians safe, to put food on our tables.
So, in Justin Trudeau's words, not the police force who's clearly said no violence has conspired, no rioting has conspired, no one has died. Yet Justin Trudeau is calling these truckers, and I'm going to repeat what he said, violence and hateful rhetoric from these people. He's calling them basically racist, haters with crazy views. And he goes on and he's attacking these people. And he says something very interesting there. He goes, well, if I agree with your goals, like BLM, then I'll support what you want to do. But if I don't agree with your goals politically, then I'm not going to do anything. That's the signs of a tyrannical dictator, not somebody who's leading a country trying to bring peace to a nation. This is somebody who is standing up with BLM, who, by the way, they have brought... There has been murders, there has been killings at these BLM events, and there has been burning down of our cities, over 245 here in the U.S. And this is who Justin Trudeau decides to stand with, all the while out of his same mouth calling the truckers who have started no violent revolution of any sort that we've seen out of the likes of BLM, nothing like that. No protests. I mean, no riots, excuse me. No deaths. No, again, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And he's going to call them violent and hateful people. Interesting, though, because he also went on and expanded. And here's what he said in a tweet. I want to read it to you. He goes, I know this pandemic is frustrating. It's frustrating after 2 years. We're not done fighting COVID-19. Let me just pause. In their eyes, we will never be done fighting forever. They want this to go on forever. But over the past few days, Canadians have been shocked, disgusted by the behavior displayed by some people protesting in our nation's capital. I want to be very clear. We're not intimidated by those who hurl abuses at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. That may have been a one-off. That is not what's going on as a whole. This is just insane. They always pick one person out of the bunch and make a story on it. And whether that person is really with the convoy, I guess, is to be determined anyway. But he goes, we won't give those who fly racist flags, and we won't cave to those who engage in vandalism and dishonor the memory of our veterans. There is no place in Canada for such behavior. So to those responsible, it needs to stop. And to those who join the convoy but are uncomfortable with the symbols of hatred and division on display, be courageous and speak out. Do not stand for or with intolerance and hate. So again, he goes on record bashing these people, blowing things out of the water that just aren't really the case. And I want you to notice something here. You can see Justin Trudeau's original one got 31.9 thousand likes. Well, immediately, his next one only 19, his next one only 18. And then, at the very top post there, Jack Posobiec's or Truckistan quote there gets 34,000 likes. Their likes against Justin Trudeau's statement are far higher than the likes for his statement, 31.9, and we're literally at 34,000 likes, which honk, honk, honk is in support of the Freedom Convoy there. Interesting, to say the least. Meanwhile, we've got peaceful things so far. We have this is Fox News is even reporting on it. Canada Freedom Convoy appears peaceful and respectful despite Trudeau's claim that it has hateful rhetoric. And that's by Fox News actually reporting what's going on there. Again, I repeat, no violence, no injuries, no deaths, no riots. And yet, Justin Trudeau is acting as if that's happening. Here's what's interesting is back in 2020, he had a different mindset for truckers. Take a look here. And this is from March 31st, 2020. While many of us are working from home, there are others who aren't able to do that, like the truck drivers who are working day and night to make sure our shelves are stocked. So when you can, please thank a trucker for everything they are doing and help them how you can. There you go. He's contradicting himself. He's contradicting himself hardcore. So what does Justin Trudeau do in response to this convoy? Does he still feel like the truckers are, the heart of the country, like, kind of he hinted at? Or are they just these bad, evil person? Well, obviously, we know which way he went with that. He even goes as far as to say 90% of truckers are vaccinated. And that may be the case. However, many vaccinated truckers are standing with the unvaxxed because it's not really about that. It's about the freedom and the right over our own bodies. But don't worry, Justin Trudeau decided to go into hiding. As you probably know from the title. And here's the first thing. He put this out on January 27th when they were headed up there. He says, last night I learned I was exposed to COVID. My rapid test was negative. I am following the health rules and isolating for 5 days. I feel fine and will be working from home. Stay safe, everybody, and get vaccinated. That was on the 27th. And he is also vaccinated himself. Then just, recently on January 31st, we now get this. Coincidentally, this morning I tested positive for COVID. I'm feeling fine, and I'll continue to work remotely for this week while following public health guidelines. There it is. So he gets COVID suddenly as this convoy is at his doorstep. And of course, he also goes into hiding, claiming fear of all this stuff. New York Post, Justin Trudeau moved to a secret location during Canada Vax protests, says report. All this rigmarole just makes me sick to my stomach. This guy is like a tyrant beyond anything I have ever seen. And I have all the love and respect for the peaceful protesters there at the border in Ottawa in the United States of America. My heart goes out to all the families involved. and I just stand with the peaceful people out there who are making a difference. I love all of you. But with that, please don't forget to get to my sponsor, at healthwithlisa.com. I really want to encourage you to check this out. If you're looking for, a really good source of collagen, and as you know, collagen helps keep you young, healthy, hair, skin, and nails, and all of that, I want you to check out BioTrust, because their collagen has personally done wonders for me personally, and I mix it in my coffee every day. It doesn't have a flavor or a taste or anything gross like that. You can even still mix in your creamer in it, but it doesn't clump up, and that's what I do every day. But I want to encourage you to check it out. It does have a 60-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy, and you can get up to 51% off. So check it out at healthwithlisa.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.